We're getting better every day. 1% better every day.
That's the goal, man.
1%
better.
That's what you gotta do. Here, chat it up.
That's exactly right. We're all about the embetterment of our show, of our colleagues, of our crew,
Our individual selves.
of all of our individual selves.
Yeah.
We got better this weekend, boys. We moved a lot of things. No service, no signal on signal.
No signal on signal.
Lost Miggy going up the mountain, Just kidding. There's actually a really good signal up on signal because they pay for it. Welcome to Chat It Up Sports. We have a awesome show again. We are in college football season. We are in the thick of it. It is week 0. We will not have a week without college basketball or football till April 12th of 2025, gentlemen. Three
I
claps.
pray for times like this.
Oh, boys, welcome. Men, girls, hopefully too, but we probably know our audience. Massive day. We're going to pick some conference champions. We're going to pick our playoffs. We're going to get you to the playoffs. Part 2 will be dropping Friday. But hope you're having a wonderful start of your week. Joseph Guthrie, producer and creator of this monstrosity that's about to happen. Malcolm Miggy Harris, CEO. And the man, the myth, the legend, Greg Larnard. What did you bring to the table?
So, we were meeting the managers on Monday, the new managers. We have 4 new managers for the softball team. Shout out Chattanooga softball. And we went back to a room called Narnia, where all of the lost equipment and items just go to just live. That's like Narnia is where they live. It's in a back closet that I've been to one time. This door doesn't even have a handle to it. Yeah. It's just like a hole. You just got to push it open. And you try to close it, it will just slam shut. There's no closing that door lightly. It just slams shut. And we were back there showing the managers, and I just saw all these old Chattanooga softball helmets. And I said to the associate head coach, I said, can I get one of these? Like this one right here is sort of unique. I've never seen this helmet. Normally they're just like navy blue with like the power yellow C. This one's got like a little gold tinge to it. It's the fade with the white on the top. Like I've never seen this type of helmet before. I said, I need this for the helmet. I need this helmet for the table, for the boys to represent Chattanooga, because if we got the power T on one side, we need the power C on the other.
Gotta have it.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. That's a power play.
Thank you.
We got
the first pitch out there too. We got the first pitch ball in front of the football.
We did.
The Garrett Tolley threw an absolute strike.
I was very proud of our boy.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like a dart, but he lobbed it in there.
Yeah.
It was funny because I heard one of my 13-year-old players that were there. He saw Coach Garrett's pitch come in. He just turned and he went, pow. That one's going Yahtzee. He's like, I would have taken that one.
Yard.
You knew which one it was going. Yeah. You knew what you could hit off that.
Yeah.
That's a big swing.
He lobbed it in there.
Hey, but we just wanted the strike.
Yeah.
Who was our guy that kind of gave him a little forewarning as we were going out there? We were walking out literally as we were heading out to the gate.
Oh, Rich Mazingo.
Yeah, that was Rich.
Rich. He was like, yeah, don't bury it in the dirt. You can throw it high. And I kind of think differently. I was like, I'd be almost embarrassed if I threw that thing way too high over the catcher's head. I'd almost rather throw it in the dirt because there's a better chance maybe a guy would swing and miss at it. So it might be a strike in that regard because nobody's swinging it if it's halfway up the backstop.
No, they're backing away before he even gets there.
Yeah, exactly.
They know.
I would have rather it been low. And that's what I told him when I was, when we went and worked on it last week and worked on his mechanics and whatnot. And at one point I said, GT, you just got to be an athlete. Like, I'm trying to teach you. You're trying to do these little things. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it all down in one session. Let's just be an athlete out there. Try to throw a strike. He's like, yeah, I'm just trying to throw this baseball like a football. Whatever gets it over for a strike.
That's all that matters. I'll say this too. Don't you guys think the swag helped him a little bit getting the Lookouts jersey?
I mean, without the Lookouts jersey, I'm not sure if he would have made that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Because you have been representing the Lookouts jersey for a while now.
Yeah, we love the Lookouts jerseys. I want that jersey that GT actually has.
The black one's the best.
I mean, it's just fire. It's just different. The
Wreckers one would have been dope too.
Would have been dope. The Grateful Dead ones.
Oh yeah,
the Grateful Dead ones are cool.
Yep,
are impeccable. Speaking of first pitches, MTK threw a first pitch this weekend, and so did Chat It Up.
Mm-hmm. And Tony Vitello.
And we're
like right in that group.
We're kind of like we might do something.
Big week for first pitches. Yeah. I'd say we're all kind of on the Mount Rushmore. Kind of the Mount Rushmore first pitches,
MTK, Tony V, and Garrett Tolley with Chat It Up Sports.
That's a triple threat that's gonna win ball games.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
national championship. That's
That's your big
Grammy
three.
Award winners and
Grammy
GT.
Award winners.
That boy's in the sip right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
shoot.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers with Garrett Jolly this week because he's going down to Mississippi.
What y'all think he's eating for dinner tonight?
Some sort of barbecue, something or other.
What are you thinking over there?
McDonald's.
Like,
He's going to Applebee's 100%.
you think so?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Big chain guy.
Chili's wasn't too bad on Saturday on Friday night.
Boy,
You missed
Yeah,
out. Big
sorry,
Chili's.
Joe.
Brother. Yeah. Missed out on the big Chili's. 2 for 1. Happy hour till 10 p.m.
People sleep on Chili's, man.
Big time.
It's definitely a running joke with my wife. I'm going to some fine dining tonight. And it's always been, we're going to Chili's. Well, she was like, where'd y'all go eat afterwards? I got to send her that picture of that little pepper up there in the top corner. And she was like, you got to be kidding me.
Out of all the nice places in downtown you could have went, y'all went to Chili's.
Sometimes you need a little redneck in you when you come
do.
down to chat.
You do.
If you're going to go to the Lookouts game, you're going to walk
It's right
above.
there.
It's just so good.
It's so
It's been
convenient, so
consistent.
good.
They
Yeah.
made it through. Dude,
Yeah.
they don't feel like they fell off after COVID.
I
Like
will
Chili's has
say-
been there
I
in the
will
dark
say-
times.
I will say the chip quality
You think so?
For the
Needs to
guac.
be better.
for the guac.
For the
Needs
guac.
to
The
be
chips are
better.
too thin for like a
Very.
heavier. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and you know, man,
very
these
much.
For
some,
sure,
these some
for
bear
sure.
paws.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm in there.
Breaking chips.
We had half chip, half guac. after
Yeah,
a
I was
while.
gonna say the guac got a little chunky. It got a little crispy
So
at times.
you're eating like crushing
Which
up
wasn't
chips
bad.
and-
Like it wasn't terrible. It was actually a pretty good combination, but
Yeah.
we had to help you out a little bit.
But
there.
they were nice about it. You know, whenever you're
Yeah.
sharing, and it's just like after the third time, it's like, all right, come on, are you
Yeah.
a Gerber baby? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta. So yeah, they better chip quality, but overall,
Fair
Chili's,
enough.
we missed you.
Yeah.
That's the moral of my story.
we love Chili's.
Yeah.
Shout out Chili's.
Yeah, I definitely had that. I'm ready to go to sleep now. Feeling after we ate that. It was
Yeah.
so good though. So good. I'll go back. Oh man. But
You know
I
what
was very
else is
proud.
so good? College football season.
Oh God, it is.
Joseph, take us away. Tell us
Brother,
what we're
it
going to be doing
is.
today.
It is, boys. It is that time. We are officially in week 0.
I hate week
0.
zero.
It's college football will be on the TV
Yes.
this Saturday.
In Dublin.
It
Amen.
will be. Yes, it is in Dublin, but it's still on the TV, and we will cover a little bit of that game. We'll do that on Thursday. But today we are going to go conference by conference. Only the Power Four. We're not going to keep you strung on with the Power Four, with the Group of 5 teams. We're going to go conference by conference. We're going to pick our championship matchup. We're going to pick the winner. We're going to pick some dark horse teams, and we're going to pick a team that we think might have a bit of a stinker of a season. You know, somebody that's like, oh, I think we could have a good year, and it's like, I think you might be crying come December, or you might be, out of a head coach. Who knows? Who knows? But we're going to start with the ACC. We're going to move on to the Big 12, the Big 10, and the SEC. And then, like Chase said, obviously, when we give you those picks, that will give us our top 4 playoff seeds, and then we'll give you the second half of that on Friday.
Yeah. I can't wait, dog. All right. So we starting with ACC first, right?
We're starting with ACC, and if you want me to, I'll kick it off.
I think you should. I think it's your inaugural post. So
Oh God.
Let's ride.
Okay. Let's you know what, man? Let's ride. I've given this a lot of thought because if I know anything about college football, I don't know anything about what's going to happen in the ACC this year. I have no idea what to expect.
One thing, just
What's
real
up?
quick,
Go for
before
it.
we
Go for
go into your picks and whatnot, I do want to let the people know, just for those who maybe aren't as hardcore of college football fans as I know mostly you three are, that SMU, Cal, and Stanford are new to the
Oh
ACC
yes,
this year.
thank you. We do have new additions. We'll
Yes.
cover the new additions for each conference before we stop. Thank you.
I
Thanks
got
for letting
you.
me know. So I gave this a lot of thought. I went over probably way more ACC football than I'd care to admit.
And you got a lot of
Not you.
Miami in from the last show with our boy Chris Newby.
I did, and man, the more I talked about them, the more they grew on me. So I have Miami playing Florida State in the ACC title game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I have no faith in Clemson.
Zero.
I'm just going to say it. I have no faith in Clemson.
Wait, weren't you the one that was commenting on Miggy when he said he
As
wouldn't
a-
even take
as a
his
program-
son there?
As a program.
Program.
Not a team, just as a program.
But still, like, this year is not going to be the year.
They're not going to win a title.
Okay.
I'll give you that much. They're not going to win a title.
Okay. I agree with you.
So I don't know what Clemson's going to be on the outside. I think this is the year that Dabo has to address the transfer portal. That being said, I don't know if there's another team that is as talented as Florida State outside of Clemson's defense. So I'm going to roll with Florida State, and I like what Miami's doing, man. I mean, Mario Cristobal, for all the grief that I give him and the way that he botched the Georgia Tech game last year, he did win a Pac-12 title, and the ACC's kind of down. So give me Cam Ward, man, as a Heisman finalist, as a leading Miami to the ACC title, and beating Florida State.
So I just want you to
Mhm.
be on the record by saying
Yep.
you have Cam in New York at the end of the season.
I don't think he's going to win it,
but he's going to get there.
but if he stays healthy all season, yeah,
he's like
I
this
think he
version
could.
of Hendon.
I think so. I think
that's
Cam
a
Ward
great
could make it there,
comparison.
man.
I like that.
Okay.
Now, I don't know anything about Cam Ward in terms of like his
Mhm.
style of play and
Mhm.
whatnot. This is a better question for you. But he just mentioned Hendon. Does he have a similar play style to the way Hendon played in college, or is there somebody you would compare him to?
I think he's a little more freestyle than
Mhm.
Hendon. I don't think he's as analytical. I don't think he's as fine-tuned as Hendon was with like his mid-tier passing game, but I think he can create a lot better. And with the way the ACC is as a conference, I think that will carry Miami very far.
Yeah.
And it's going to put up big numbers for Cam.
I have a comparison for you.
Go for it.
It's Robert Griffin III.
I could see that.
They look alike.
Yeah,
Whenever,
I
I'm
can see that.
telling you, he can just put it anywhere. He can sling it. I think the world of him, but we're gonna see. It's interesting what you just said.
It's yeah. So I wanted to be a little bit off. As much as it pains me, I'm going with Miami, man.
Okay.
I'm rolling with the Canes. Give me the U. Win the ACC.
I'll just follow you there, Joseph, because I have the same exact thing in terms of the championship game. Did you say who's going to win?
Miami beating Florida State.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to take Florida State to win that one, just strictly because of their defense, strictly because I don't know how much I believe in Mario Cristobal. I agree that Cam Ward could be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Don't think he's going to win it, but those are the same two teams that I had in the conference championship, and I've got on the other side. I'll take Florida State to win that one.
CG, brother.
All right.
Talk to him.
Well, I agree with you, Joseph, on this one. Start with that one. I really do. I kind of think it's the same thing. I think Florida State and Miami are by far the two top to bottom most talented rosters in the ACC. I wish there was even a hope. I was really actually trying to find like even just a funny angle where I could get Carolina and Mac back in this. Not even remotely joke.
I was gonna say, I heard you talk about North Carolina this year, and you're like, yeah, it ain't gonna be our year.
It's not gonna be a year. It's not even like a fun. Like if you have somebody like Drake, you can do so much. I think Cam Ward you can do so much with so much talent now. I'm with you on some of this stuff, G. It's like really hard to believe in Cristobal, but Cam is special. He did some really great things at Washington State, despite having a horrendous roster. Something about Florida State this year, you're losing a lot of talent. Still a great offensive line. I think it's going to be a fun duel. I think both of them actually make the playoff.
Oh,
but give me Miami as your outright winner.
Okay.
Question for you guys,
Go
because
for it.
I'm behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Producer Malcolm is like he's had to deal with a lot pre-show today.
Are there
So we forgive
conferences
you.
in the ACC?
We're all out.
No, it's all.
So they're
No
out.
more.
So
There-
it's just I can.
there
pick
are
two
no
teams.
divisions.
Yeah, you can
there's no divisions. Okay,
There's no
so-
divisions. I don't believe there are divisions left in any of the Power Four conferences.
Okay, good deal. That's a change. That's a real change.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm going Florida State.
Okay.
I believe.
Well, we agree on something
Yeah,
sports-wise
yeah,
again. I don't know how I feel about
I
that
believe
now.
DJ is going to have a great year.
DJ Ugalongole.
Yes.
DJ
He's their quarterback now.
Yeah.
All right.
He's sensational, and I love a good narrative.
Mhm.
I love a good revenge game. It's going to be
yeah.
over Clemson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think Clemson is going to be defensively a powerhouse.
I-
I think that Dabo smells blood in the water,
Mhm.
and that he's not going to have a job. And his one backup plan was filled by Kalen DeBoer.
Oh.
So there's nowhere to go. So if it's not at Clemson, he might be on the couch. And I don't think Dabo wants to go out like that.
Mm.
So I think Clemson's going to come prepared to play every game like it's their last. And I think they'll get over Miami because I don't believe in Mario Cristobal.
I understand.
We talked about Chris Newby, and he was like, he doesn't have that U swag. He doesn't. The Georgia Tech game to me was a fireable offense.
Oh.
Honestly, like if I was the AD,
Oh, 100%.
if I was the AD, I'd be like, hey, you got to come to my office. Let's just rap right now.
We gotta have a talk.
I can go get Ed Reed and motivate these boys today.
Mhm.
You're the guy, be the guy. I don't think he's a guy. And I don't think Cam Ward, it's a lot. And if he's so good, but if he is injured, that team goes south quick.
Very.
100%.
I think Clemson's just a well-rounded team. So give me Florida State over Clemson.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Wow. First
I'll
Clemson.
take it.
Because
Yeah.
I'm so far away from a Cade Klubnik believer.
Yeah.
I know I picked Miami, but low key I'm rooting for that because if DJU beats Clemson, what does that say? What's that storyline?
I mean, it's
That's amazing.
I
I would
mean,
love
That's the
that.
funnest one.
If
Cinema.
DJU
A big
beats
F
Clemson,
you to Dabo and Clemson.
like,
or
oh, you
DJ.
think Cade's better than me? All right,
Yeah.
Bet. Show me.
Bet.
Yeah.
Show me.
Show me.
Yeah.
like, well, what could I have
We're
done
finna
if I
see.
would have had Garrett Riley?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be good.
But DJ's bounced around. Like, what was he at?
He was at Oregon State.
Oregon State,
Which
last year.
I think so. Typically, I'd agree with you on if somebody moves teams a bunch, it's a red flag. But Jonathan Smith left, the whole staff left. They didn't get picked up in a conference, so it's kind of like,
Yeah, it made sense.
yeah, like I don't really fault DJU for leaving Oregon State. That was kind of like you had to do it. So
And I
But-
think low-key probably really wanted to come back into the ACC.
he wanted a shot at Clemson.
Yeah,
I
of
think
course.
I know
Yeah.
he wants that shot.
Absolutely.
And you just saw. So like Jordan Travis is like this spectacular version of not a game manager. Somebody pulled that card on me the other day and said that he was a game manager of sorts.
Wow. What?
And I was like,
Jordan Travis?
yeah. They're like, in a way. I was like, no, stop it.
not wrong.
That's like
Whoever told
that's
you
like
that.
Aaron Rodgers being a borderline first ballot Hall of Famer. Big.
But it's
I don't know how you can say that with a straight face.
I'll say it confidently.
You can't even say that without smiling.
Confidently.
Yeah.
I'm sticking out to my word confidently.
but DJ has a chance to be actually that.
Yeah.
Like a very good possible, like he's not a playmaker to Jordan's level, but he can do a lot of cool things and get you like a 3 rushing touchdown game you can't get from many guys. Yeah, I think he's the reason they actually lose to somebody like Miami, but I also think he's the reason you beat people like Clemson. So it's one of those, he's a very hit or miss guy for me. It's a drop off from Jordan Travis. So for me, DJ is going to have a fun time. I hope he beats Clemson so bad. But
We're all missing the one component about Florida State as well. They're all pissed off.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
single
Yeah, that's a
last
good point.
one
Oh,
of
yeah.
them.
Especially
That's
after what
what-
happened last year.
Every single last one of them they're out for blood.
Yeah.
Bet. So yeah, I love that take by the way that you just had.
yeah, so DJ,
Go
Have fun.
DJ.
All right.
It's
So
my
before we move on
DJ.
from the ACC, there is one more thing I want to get from all you guys.
Just
give
one?
me two more things.
I was
Two
gonna
more
say.
things. I want a dark horse team. Somebody that you think could either not necessarily win the conference, but like maybe at least, make the conference title game or make the race interesting. And I have 2 if you want me to start.
yeah, go
I've
ahead.
got 2 as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this.
Yes.
So first one is Virginia Tech. And the reason why is because Virginia Tech is the only team in FBS that returns all 22 starters.
Hmm.
You got everybody that played last year is back this year. Their schedule isn't horrible. I mean, your hardest games, Miami and Clemson, you really only got to win one of those. And you're in the contention for the ACC title. You get Clemson at home, and like Miggy talked about, Mario had a fireable offense last year. Let's say you can't do it again against Virginia Tech. I mean, I know that game's at home. Oh, well, the Georgia Tech game was at home. So Virginia Tech's my first one. And my second one is I guess it's a little bit of a homer pick, but it is at Syracuse.
Oh.
Fran Brown is a hell of a recruiter. And he got Kyle McCord, who I know was not great by Ohio State standards, but he still led them to an 11-1 record playing at Syracuse. Syracuse does not have that tough of a gauntlet either. They actually don't play Clemson or Florida State. Their last game of the year is Miami at home. So that's their hardest schedule in terms of the ACC. I think they could make it interesting.
I like the Syracuse one.
Yeah, I didn't know that about their schedule.
Mm-hmm. Miami in the last game of the season at the Carrier Dome. That's their hardest game. I think that's the highest. Yeah, Miami's the in terms of odds to win the ACC, Miami is the highest favored team that they play. Followed by Virginia Tech at plus 1,000, according to ESPN Bet.
Wow. G, you want me to go?
You can go. Go ahead. I got to look at something.
All right. So funny enough, I'm actually picking NC State. I mean, I know it's not super far off, but I mean, they are not talked about. It is those three. It is those three at the top that we talked about in the conference championship, and then everybody else. It really is how it feels. NC State kind of gets pushed to the backside. But outside of Tennessee and Clemson right now, they will face nobody in the top 35.
Mm-hmm.
Your last games, it'll start real quick. Western Carolina, Tennessee, Louisiana Tech, Clemson, and then after that, here is your gauntlet. Northern Illinois, Wake, Syracuse, at home. At Cal versus Stanford versus Duke, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Whoa.
There's no reason you can't win all those games.
Watch out, Florida. Tough schedule. So yeah, if you steal one of Tennessee or Clemson, it's 11 wins.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
They beat Clemson last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or they were damn close. They beat Clemson last year.
I think they were, they were one of their 4. And now they have Grayson McCall.
They do. Coastal Carolina's finest.
Dude. He was awesome. He was awesome.
He's been awesome for the last 19 years.
I was going to say, he's been there forever.
He's up there
he was there when I was covering the Cajuns.
Yeah, man. He's been
there.
there.
LinkedIn, brother.
He's been there a long time.
It's time. All right.
That boy's going to be like a practice squad quarterback somewhere.
Hey,
somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Practice that LinkedIn profile.
He'll go straight from practice
Premium.
squad to the coaching
Get
staff.
your premium too.
Yeah, pay for premium.
He'll be the Kellen Moore of. He'll jump straight to the.
Yeah. You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, word for word, bar for bar. It's NC State. I mean, I think that they're going to. I think Tennessee better be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee better not take anything for granted. I know Tennessee's going to do what we do, and they're going to absolutely blow the doors off. But NC State is going to make it an interesting first half.
Okay.
But no, I think this team could easily be 10-2, top 15 team at the end of the year. Just the way some stuff is going to play out.
Right on the fringe of playoff, maybe.
But they're for sure going to end up in like the Cheez-Its Bowl.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a Pop-Tart Bowl so they can eat the Pop-Tart.
Oh, yeah, the Pop-Tart Bowl. Yes.
It's the best bowl.
Yeah.
Best bowl.
What about you, G?
All right, so the two that I wanted to throw at you, I really like the Syracuse one. You mentioned
man.
Kyle McCord. I forgot about him. Yep. It's a great pick. I just looked at the schedule again. You're right. That is a cake schedule. They have like UConn before Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Just a nice little puff game to get ready for Miami there at the Carrier Dome. But I'll go with Louisville. They had 10 wins and they were in the ACC championship game last year in Jeff Brom's first season. They're number 6 in the transfer portal class this past year in the nation. This offseason, they landed number 5 in the ACC power rankings. I think their biggest question is their quarterback. He's a 6-year journeyman whose last name I cannot say. Do you know his last name?
No.
Okay. Tyler Shaw, I'm going to say.
Oh, is it Tyler Show?
Show. There you go. Yeah.
From,
it's like
Texas Tech.
Shoe.
Yeah.
Tyler
It's
Shoe.
like SHOUGH.
Yeah.
Tyler Shoe.
Yeah. He transferred from Texas Tech.
Yeah. Obviously, he's like a journeyman. He's a 6-year guy. He's never thrown for more than 1,600 yards in a season. So that's going to be a little tough. They got to overcome that for sure. And then the other one I was going to talk about was SMU. They won the American Athletic Conference championship last season, and now they're an even better team than they were last year. Now, I know they're going to the ACC, but it's not like you're going to the SEC, the Big 12, or anything like that. They've got a ton of talent coming back. They've had some really good pickups in the transfer portal. The 3 losses they had last year came to Oklahoma, TCU, and Boston College. And they were the only 3 times all season the offense failed to get 20 more points or more. So I know their schedules are more difficult than like a Syracuse, but I think those are 2 talented teams that if they happen to find a way to win 1 or 2 maybe really tough games during the season, they might find themselves in contention for the ACC title.
Okay. I love that pick.
Thank you.
I was hoping somebody would give some love to SMU. I was low-key. Because I thought about it, but I was like, you know what? It's after watching BYU jump to the Big 12, I was like, I think there is a little bit of a jump. There's a little bit of learning curve. So, but I'm glad you brought up Louisville because to me, Syracuse this year is what Louisville was last year. Deceptively easy schedule. You rip off 10 wins and it looks like, oh, hey, they're like a top team, but then you meet Florida State and it's like, oh,
this is not close.
This is not the same team. So that's exactly where my head was at. Exactly.
At that point.
They had, what was his name? His name's
big fall off. That's all I know. I can't.
Yeah.
It was a backup, and then he got hurt in that game, didn't he?
Yep.
And then, immediately.
Third,
right?
yeah. Third string guy ended up. Was it? I don't think anybody scored 20 points in that game.
I don't think
No.
so.
No, they couldn't
I
move
don't
the
think
ball.
so,
Yeah,
no.
it was rough.
tough.
It's hard to watch.
Because it was close at one point. Like, if Louisville could have moved the ball at all on Florida State's defense, they would have probably won that game, but
Yeah.
they couldn't do anything. Couldn't do shit.
So last thing for the ACC, and we'll try to move through this kind of quick for time so we can jump to the Big 12. Who's going to have a bad season? I'm throwing Clemson out there, man. And I'm strictly basing it off of their expectations. Like, obviously, if Clemson goes 9-3, if you're NC State or if you're like Cal or one of these other teams, you're like 9-3 is not bad. That's a solid season. Clemson can't take another 9-3, man. Their fan base is not. They don't want that to happen. You go from winning the ACC 7 years in a row to now it's like you can't beat Florida State, who takes transfers and you don't. It's Clemson. I think Clemson's in for a rough season.
I'll give you this. It's going to be Clemson, and they're going to start off 1-4.
Oh.
They're going to lose to Georgia.
Okay.
App State's going to upset them.
Oh.
NC State's going to beat them. They're going to win against Stanford, and they're going to lose at Florida State.
Oh God, I don't even want to. The whole state will be like the whole state outside of Columbia will be in flames if that happens. If Clemson opens the season 1-4.
That's diabolical, and it's very realistic too. That's the
Yeah.
crazy thing is that could happen. I'm going with my hometown team. I'm from Atlanta. Georgia Tech is going to implode this year. If you look at their schedule, I literally count potentially 7 losses. FSU is 1. Georgia State is going to be a scare. Syracuse is probably going to get them. They're going to lose to Louisville. They're going to lose to Notre Dame. They're going to lose to Virginia Tech. They're going to lose to Miami. They're going to lose to NC State. They're going to lose at Georgia. That's a lot of losses. Georgia Tech's not built for this right now.
That's rough, man.
Oh, wow.
I did notice they get sandwiched buys around Miami.
Yep.
Ooh, tough one.
What?
Yeah, so their buys don't line up correctly. I mean, it's tough. I give them Duke and I give them VMI, and then after that, literally everything else is a toss-up.
Yeah, I could see that.
Give me Georgia Tech as mine.
Okay, well, I'll go with one of the newcomers. I'll go with California. I was kind of looking at Duke a little bit, just purely based on their schedule. I don't really know anything about what they have, what they lost, or anything like that. What, Duke?
Yeah.
Well, I was saying
Yeah.
California or Duke in general. No idea on both those sides. I was just looking purely off of what the schedule looks like and what I know about California over the last couple of years. And they have not been the most powerful football program. And Joseph, you can correct me if I'm wrong, or anybody else that knows anything about California. But you look at the middle of the season facing Miami, have to go to Pitt, NC State, Oregon State, Syracuse, and then they finish the season at SMU. So, look, going from the Pac-12 to the ACC, a bit of a change for California. I don't know exactly what they have there in terms of talent. And they have to travel all over. I mean, that's a tough travel schedule as well, going across the country. So it's going to be tough for California. I'm going to say they have a real bad year this year in the ACC.
You need to watch Cal for one reason. Jaden Ott. He's the only shining light on that team. Running back. Jaden Ott. He had a coming out party when they played Auburn last year. I know they lost that game, but it's Cal. He'll make a great running back for some NFL team.
Okay.
But it's Cal, man.
Their coach, Justin Wilcox, was a former Tennessee Volunteer defensive coordinator.
Shout out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Shout out.
He was absolutely amazing at Tennessee and bolted for Cal. One of my favorite coaches. He knew how to play the game. So I wish him well.
I'm hoping he could turn it around. I'd love to see Cal. I don't think Cal will ever be like a perennial powerhouse, but I'd love to see Cal be a consistent top 25, 20 to 25 team. Why not, right? There's no reason they can't.
Yeah. One of the best backdrops in college football.
Yeah. All right, so on to the Big 12, starting with the conference championship match. I guess I'll keep rolling first.
Kick it off, baby.
There were 3 teams that I was considering for this, and
Okay.
I cannot wait to hear your take on this. But there were 3 teams I was considering for this: Utah, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State. When Utah announced they were joining the Big 12, I'm very glad that I didn't open my FanDuel account that day, because I would have pushed a lot of money onto Cam Rising in his 18,000th year of college football and Kyle Whittingham to win that conference. Mostly because I love the way they play football, but I think it's going to be a little bit harder playing even though it's the Big 12 without Oklahoma and Texas. I still think it's going to be a little bit harder than the Pac-12 is on a consistency basis.
Yeah.
So for that reason, I'm rolling with Kansas State because I believe in Sunshine. I can't remember his name. They're 4-star. They had a 4-star quarterback
With the long hair.
Adrian,
insane.
Adrian.
No, their current quarterback.
Oh.
It's like I can't remember his name. It's escaped me. I'll find it. But I got Kansas State playing Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy, he did
Mr.
it.
Non-wins.
He did it last year, man. I mean, even with Oklahoma and Texas, he made it to the Big 12 title game. They, behind Virginia Tech, have the most returning starters, 21 out of 22. Their quarterback's in his 11th year. Give me Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State wins the first regular season matchup, and I got Kansas State winning the Big 12 title.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready, Chase. I have waited for this take. God, I have waited for this take.
UCF love.
Oh, yes. We will have UCF. Go ahead and put that one in there.
Okay.
Versus the Utah Utes.
The Gus Bus.
We will have the Gus Bus finally getting his proper quarterback. As strange as it sounds, and I know there's probably some Arkansas fan out there thinking, no way, KJ Jefferson. But Gus needs them big old boys at quarterback. You have maybe the best running back transfer out of Toledo. Why am I blanking on his name?
Rashad Penny?
Yeah, Rashad Penny.
And they got one other. They have a running back tandem. I can't remember the other guy's name.
They got, and then Perry Boone.
Yeah.
And so they have two of the best right now. And then plus you got Kelly out of Miami as your edge rusher. This UCF transfer portal was fantastic. And the schedule is not wild. So here's my reasoning.
Okay.
So New Hampshire, dub. Sam Houston State, dub. At TCU, dub. Colorado, suck it, dub. They go into the swamp to get their big win. They're on the national map now. Now you're moving up. You get Cincy, probably looks just a big program. At Iowa State, another big win. BYU, sorry Mormons, you're out. Arizona, this is probably going to be one of those big top 25-ish matchups.
Mm-hmm.
They get them. So now we're really cruising. Now we are in the playoff slots.
Ooh.
So all you got to do is beat Arizona State. You go up to the Mountaineers, you beat them, and then we get a rematch, actually, in the conference championship. Because actually, in the last week, you have Utah versus UCF. UCF at home.
Oh, God.
And here's what I got for you.
That would be incredible.
Here's what I got for you.
Mhm.
Utah's going to beat them the first time.
Oh, so this is going to be a 1-1.
Yep.
They're going to trade games.
We get our other 1-1. Utah gets them. They go in. Your boy slides into FanDuel and says, not a second time. UCF gets them. They get the automatic berth. That's what happens.
Oh, my God.
The Gus Bus is in, boys.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
That's how it happens.
There's
your magic.
I'm not mentally prepared for UCF to get a first round bye in the playoff.
Plus 950 for these folks out there.
Prepared.
Can I ask you guys something?
Of course.
And I just want you all to be honest with me.
Mhm.
Do you believe?
Ian?
Do you believe?
I believe.
We're going to win right now.
I believe that we will win. I believe
We're
that
going
we
to
will
win right now. I'm talking about in Colorado.
No way.
We're going to win right now.
I don't believe.
I don't believe
I
it all.
changed my
I'm
mind.
out.
We're going to win
I don't believe it.
right
I'm out.
now.
I changed my
And
mind.
we're going to have
I don't believe.
not only one, but 2 top 10 picks and a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Oh.
Give me
I love Shador.
Chase's concept, because when he said that, I
Okay.
batted an eye,
Okay.
because it's going to happen, but it's going to be against Oklahoma State. Colorado over Oklahoma State.
Over?
You have a top 3 quarterback in college football. You have arguably the best player in college football. You have a brand new roster. They have fixed major deficiencies on both the O and D lines. I'm telling y'all, Colorado is for real. It takes time to build a program. It's year 2. Give me Shador, who is, to me, arguably the best quarterback in college football right now.
I just want to put a pin in that. When they start 0-2, let me, because they open with North Dakota State.
And I know everybody
don't schedule
wants,
North Dakota State.
everybody
No, you
wants their moment, and I'm telling you, Colorado knows
FCS
that.
finest.
Nebraska, listen, they got some dude out there. Raiola, he is the second coming.
Patty Mahomes Jr.
I know.
That's right.
I know what time it is. Colorado State, they could potentially even start 0-4 because Baylor's no joke either. So, and then you got UCF. It's a tough schedule. I believe in Dion and his used car salesman tactics.
God, I love that.
Putting my name.
I'm so
to it.
glad.
Dion, you better not make me look stupid, baby.
I'm so glad somebody
Prime
did
time.
it.
I'm riding with you. You had the black community watching Colorado Buffalo games at 2 a.m. Come on, man. That's
I love
cinema.
That was incredible.
Incredible.
That was
Aura.
God, that was
Look it up in
awesome.
the dictionary. You will see Shador Sanders. Hold up your AP. What's up, Greg?
Stop. Just, I
Well, we
mean,
know what one of our cuts is.
I don't believe anymore. I mean, you want to talk about the team that I think is going to disappoint this year? It's probably going to be Colorado. That schedule is damn tough. You look at the Colorado Buffalo schedule; it's incredibly. You mentioned it, Joseph. Opening with North Dakota State, FCS's finest. You don't do that. So I'm going to take them for the team that's most disappointing, but we'll get there later. So my two teams that I'm going to take the Utah Utes, because I think the question everybody is asking, how will the Utes kind of fare in the Big 12? I want to ask the question of how will the Big 12 fare now that the Utes are in it?
Ooh.
Cam Rising is an absolute stud. He's been there for 17 years, as Chase had mentioned. They have really good offensive and defensive lines. Just assuming that the injuries sort of mellow out just a little bit for the Utes, because they've been injury plagued over the last couple of years. Obviously, Cam Rising hasn't been able to play very much football over the last couple of years. But if he's able to stay healthy, that flow, that swagger, I mean, give me the Utah Utes to beat Kansas State. I'm gonna take them over Kansas State.
Beautiful. I was with you all the way up until about 4 days ago. I was all on the Utah train, man. I was like, they're going to win. I believe in Kyle Whittingham. Take my money. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, Mike Gundy's been here, dude. He's won this conference.
He's a man. He's more than 40.
I'm a man. He's probably almost 60 now.
Yeah.
That interview's
That was a long
going
time
on
ago.
20 years old, I think.
Now, the number one thing that I'm going to feel really stupid about
Uh-huh.
is Avery Johnson might absolutely
Avery Johnson.
destroy college football this year. Destroy. There's a guy named Will Howard that left to go be Ohio State's starting quarterback because he wasn't good enough to start at Kansas State. But here we are. I'm not even picking him in the championship game, and I'm going to feel stupid about it later on.
They
And I know
also
that. And I know that.
He's dynamic.
they also picked up Deuce Vaughn 2.0 and Dylan Edwards. I don't know why Colorado let him go. I think you need all
The
three.
ad- the ad-
Colorado,
Buffaloes.
the ad on the jersey wasn't big enough.
Listen, man. I saw Malcolm Harris on the back.
I mean, if Dylan Edwards pops,
Malcolm Harris, I'll do this for you.
Yeah.
If Colorado just makes it to the championship game,
Okay.
Big 12 championship game,
Okay.
I'll get you that at jersey, brother.
Done.
I'll get you that custom.
Done.
I'll
All
get
right.
What if they don't though?
If they don't,
Chili's
you gotta
no,
Chili's,
it's
I'll
gotta
take
be
it.
better. It's
Chili's
gotta be better.
on me.
we gotta tape an afro to a mechanical bull, and you gotta ride it like it's a buffalo.
And it will be at Whiskey Cowgirl, and I will do it in
absolutely. Let's reshake on
And
that.
listen, I will even up the stakes.
For the concept.
If they don't win 8 games,
If they don't win 8 games,
if they don't win 8 games,
Flick over to his real quick. Let's
Okay.
flick over to me
All
because
right,
I want
all
this
right,
if
promise.
they don't win 8 games, I will be at Whiskey Cowgirl with a afro, with some joggers and a bra on, riding that bull.
What?
Done.
With a
That's
bra?
with a bra.
Oh, if they start 0
Whose
and
bra is it
2,
gonna be?
It's I'm gonna find one at the local Target. Make sure y'all send some ad money our way.
Oh, I thought you could have just picked one up yourself.
Listen, hey now, say now.
I'm sure you can
Oh
get
my
somebody to
God.
donate.
Listen, I'll be ready because Colorado's gonna be ready.
all right,
Founders welcome.
I cannot wait for
believe.
this. I cannot wait for
Yeah.
this.
Hit us up on social media at Chat Up Sports, all over social media.
We'll do it.
The plug.
So moving on to dark horse teams from the Big 12. I was actually thinking somebody would have Colorado here. I don't. I got one team and one team only. Bear down, baby. It's Arizona. I know Jed Fish just went to Washington, but they hired Brent Brennan, who did nothing but win at San Jose State.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is? And 2 additional reasons for Arizona: Noah Fafita, Teratoa McMillan. That's all you need. The boys
can
going to
score.
ball. They balled last year. They should have beat Washington last year. Should have. A lot of teams should have beat Washington last year. But it don't happen if you don't. So give me Arizona for my dark horse team, man. I think Noah Fafita is going to have a hell of a year. And Teratoa McMillan's going to put himself in Bolitnikoff territory.
Can I double down on that since you mentioned it?
Go for
I'm going to
it.
double down with
Yeah.
Arizona. You basically took the words right out of my mouth with that one. Noah Fafita, the Pac-12 Freshman Offensive Player of the Year. You mentioned Ted McMillan, second team All Pac-12 selection last year. San Jose State, 3 bowl games in the past 4 years. That was the entire total of the program the last 28 years at San Jose State. So yeah, that's I'm gonna go with Arizona as well. 4th best odds to win the Big 12.
This one was tough. I don't want to roll on that. A fun one that I have that could ruin a lot of parties is West Virginia Mountaineers.
Oh, thank God.
West Virginia Mountaineers could ruin a lot of parties. And I have them the reason Oklahoma State doesn't make it. I think that they're kind of like one of the deciding games. At Arizona is going to be tough. That was another one like I was kind of going back and forth between these two. Their schedule is not just brutal. Depends on what you think about like somebody like Kansas and Penn State, because they have Penn State noon on the 31st, boys. That could be a fun start. That could ruin Penn State, which, man, I hope so. I do not want to see Penn State in the playoff. So go ahead and get that L out of the way. I don't care. Go ahead and get that bad L because you're going to take some other big L's here later on. So go ahead and get that one out of the way. And I think the West Virginia Mountaineers could just cause some havoc. I know there's a lot of dark horse picks out there for this conference, really. I think this is one of those that could beat the crap out of each other all year and be fun. And I really think the Big 12 could be what the Pac-12 was last year. Like you could have 4 to 5, like, hey now, teams, they could go out and beat anybody. Who's yours, Megan?
Mine is a run that's going to happen and that nobody has talked about.
I love he's doubling down again.
He's going dark horse and champ.
This is a dark horse with arguably, to me, one of the best quarterbacks coming back in college football nobody's talking about. I'm talking about Jalen Daniels in Kansas.
Oh, yes.
Guys, this guy is absolutely like Lamar-esque.
When he's healthy, dude.
When he's healthy. Can he stay healthy 100% of the time? If so, they're going to be in every single ball game that they're in based off their schedule. I truly believe that. Give me Kansas. If he is healthy, I expect him to really play himself into New York.
I love that. And dude, I'm right there with you. The only thing that held me up was his health.
Yeah.
If he makes it all 12 games, Kansas is dangerous. But I just got to see him do it. I got to see Jalen Daniels play all 12 games.
Yeah.
And I hope he does. I really do.
He's a star.
Because Kansas, I need Kansas to be like a top 10 team at like 10-1 or something going into like playoff ranking. I need that. I need that in my life.
It's very possible.
Last thing for the Big 12, we'll do disappointing seasons. Man, it's Colorado. Like, and it's not. Let me preface this in a way. I don't think Colorado is going to have a disappointing season in terms of like where they should be. If Colorado wins 6 games, that's an improvement. They went from winning 1 game to 4 games to 6 games. That's incredible, and it should be looked at as a success. However, it's not. The media and the Colorado fanboys are gonna, if they don't make the Big 12, the Big 12 title game, it's gonna be disappointing, and I don't think they're going to. I think 6 wins is the mark. I think 6 wins would be a successful season. So I think because of that, I'm going to say Colorado has a disappointing season in terms of standards. Sorry, Miggy. I didn't mean to just kind of throw you on the bus there.
I believe.
I promise I came up with that all last night. That was not.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
This one's tough. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it.
Do it.
Oklahoma State.
Ooh. Oh, God.
And it's only because of like what they kind of believed themselves to be this year. It's like, hey, we should go out here and win this thing. And I think they just lose those 3 in a row. I think they're going to lose to Utah, Kansas State, and West Virginia 3 straight. And then, if Miggy's right, it could come down to at Colorado at the end of the season.
But I really want to see this man in a bra.
I absolutely want to see that.
Yeah.
But, you get BYU late on a Friday night. there's a pretty easy way to get 5 losses pretty quick. And that's why it wouldn't be like the worst year ever if they go 8-4, but they shouldn't in their minds be 8-4 or 7-5.
Yeah.
So that's why I could see them kind of faltering.
Yeah.
So yeah, hate to do it because I think I like Mike Gundy a lot.
Well, I respect that.
Arizona State is my disappointment. I mean,
Okay.
I look at the schedule, I see 5 losses immediately.
Okay.
So you can swing some, but that back half is no joke. I mean, really, you got the Kansas, the Utah; those are back to back. You're off, but then you got at Oklahoma State, you're at Kansas State, and you're at Arizona.
God, dude.
Like,
that's
come
gonna
on,
be-
bro. Like, that's just setting you up not for
Ooh.
success. So give me Arizona State as my team that I just don't think they're going to do well this year.
They'll be lucky to get. I mean, they play Mississippi State too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying Mississippi State's going to be.
It's an
anything
SEC
great,
team, though, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's just different pedigrees when it comes to talent.
Mm-hmm. And sandwiched between those road trips to Oklahoma State and Kansas State's UCF.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Your Big 12 champion.
Gus Bus, baby.
Gus Bus.
So, yeah, give me Arizona State as my stinker of the conference.
Great.
I remember Colorado.
Oh, yeah, right.
I remember Colorado.
All right. With that, let's move on to the first of the 2 powerhouse conferences in the Big Ten. I feel like this is where we're going to start to get kind of similar. I think somebody's going to have this exact matchup because we're already going to see it once. It's Oregon and Ohio State. I don't believe in Michigan. I don't think they're ready. I don't think they bring back enough to follow up. I think Oregon's ready. Ohio State's loaded, absolutely loaded. Give me Oregon and Ohio State in a rematch, and I got Ohio State winning the Big Ten. I don't think there's much. I mean, I don't feel like you have to delve too much into that. The defense is going to be insane. Will Howard really just has to not lose.
Just don't screw it. It's like basically like
Yeah,
Stetson.
yeah. I mean, you pretty much
with
just
Georgia.
don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up.
Like you've got 2 of the best running backs in the country. Your defense could probably win you every game. Just don't screw it up. That's outside of them going to Oregon. The one game I think Will Howard will have to actually get up for. I don't see Ohio State struggling very much.
Quack, 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 quack. Dude, Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, your Heisman absolute favorite. Just gonna stat stuff all year.
Okay.
It's gonna be incredible. That game is the one I had for my game of the year.
Yep.
My 1-1.
Yep.
Because I knew you would pick Texas, Georgia right away.
Yeah.
I think we all would agree
Yeah.
that we knew
I
Georgia.
had to.
If there was anything, the most obvious thing possible would have been that game that Joseph would have taken. I really, really believe in Dan Lanning again this year. I think they lost a little bit on the defensive line again, but the power of money is going to be one of the favorite things to talk about when Oregon goes out there and beats Ohio State again. Twice in 1 year. I think it's
twice. Okay.
twice.
Wow.
You don't think,
Twice.
okay.
No, twice. And that is how that gets done. And then somebody is going to, at the end of the year, be like, well, Iowa only lost to Ohio State. And that's it. And we're going to have like maybe 11-win Iowa team. And they still should not get in the playoffs. But they're going to lose to Oregon twice. And I think Ohio State will be the Oregon of last year.
Okay. Where they can't get over the hump against.
Can't get over the hump. Will Howard's really good, but not quite as good.
Doesn't shine in the big moments.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's mine.
I love that.
You know, it's a lot of great quarterback play in this conference.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that you guys just aren't thinking about. And he's at Penn State, and his name is Drew.
Oh God.
Kick rocks, Maggie.
And to me personally, you guys love Dylan Gabriel. That's great. You know, if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Dylan Gabriel isn't at Oklahoma for a reason. I'm telling y'all, bye-bye. So I think Penn State is going to lose to the best team in college football, which is Ohio State. I think pound for pound, Ohio State,
100% with you.
They are absolutely dominant on all facets. I mean, you have arguably the best running back, I'd say, in college football. You have 2 of the best receivers in college football. Name to watch this year, Carnell Tate. He's going to, if he plays the way I think, he could be Jackson Smith and Jigba type good.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be Marvin because Marvin said he's the best to ever come out of Ohio State history, which we'll talk about that. But
Okay.
give me Penn State over Ohio State
Oh.
over Penn
I was like,
State.
whoa.
Yeah, sorry, I got
I was
tongue
like,
tied.
maybe I'm not with you.
I love James Franklin, and I think that he's accrued all this talent over time.
He's great.
It's got to pay
But-
off.
It's great for 10 wins.
I mean,
And losing the big games every single year.
but Penn State, I'm looking at their schedule. They avoid Oregon, and I really like that. I mean, I'm not scared of Washington. You play Ohio State, and you have Ohio State at home. I'm not fearful of going to Southern Cal. They
should
could do
roll.
some damage.
Yeah.
If James Franklin is really the coach I think he is.
And if Drew Allar has elevated his game
And I
the
think
way
he
that he's
has.
supposed to.
I think he has.
You're talking about Drew Aller elevating his game, 2,300 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, and just one pick last year. So you elevate that even further. You throw for over 3,000 yards, over 30 touchdowns, and minimal picks. Penn State is going to win some big games this year. And so I'm with you, Miggy. I got Penn State and Ohio State in the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time for James Franklin. Let's win some big games.
Yeah, he's here for a
This
reason.
is the time. This is the time. Ohio State's still going to win the championship, but this is the time for James Franklin to get there.
No.
To go
way.
11 and
Get there.
1.
Yes, get 11 wins instead of 10. Win one big game in the season. Come on. That's what I got.
I'm gonna hold the stance. James Franklin's gonna make me look stupid, and I'm cool with that. I'm just
Sweet.
until he does. It's hard for me to roll
Don't
Penn
believe.
State, man.
I get
I
it.
mean, I love Nick Singleton, and I love
Great running back.
dude.
Great running back.
Abdul Carter. Like they've got the big
They
names.
got some dogs, bro.
They lost Keandre Lambert Smith, and I
Yeah.
think that's going to be a big loss. They did get Julian Fleming from Ohio State,
They did.
and
There
that's-
wasn't anything
that-
special at Ohio
But that
State.
receiver room, man.
But I mean,
It's
yeah,
loaded.
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, they were
it's-
loaded. So like he comes and he could be a one now. He could shine.
yeah, he could really if he pops.
Yeah.
And they've got the running back tandem, and they've got Julian. They got a go-to guy in Julian Fleming. I could see it, but I'm gonna have to see it before I.
Saquon's not there
So-
anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's been a minute since Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders not there anymore.
Jeez.
Man,
Trace
Sean
McSorley,
Clifford.
baby.
Shout out to Trace.
I mean-
Trace McSorley.
Trace McSorley, baby.
Swag.
Oh, all right. Good picks all around, boys. My dark horse team for the Big Ten. I hate it, man. It's vanilla. It's Nebraska. It's Nebraska, dude. It's Dylan Raiola in year 1, Matt Rule in year 2. Their hardest game is at Ohio State. That's their hardest game. I mean, they could beat USC. They could beat UCLA. They can beat Wisconsin. They play Iowa to end the season at a Friday night. That's at Iowa. At Indiana. I mean, they could start the season 5-0. I mean, UTEP, Colorado, Northern Iowa, Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers. There's no reason they can't win all 6 of those games going into their bye, then play at Indiana and at Ohio State, lose to Ohio State, and holy crap, Nebraska's 7-1. Who would have thought?
Well, shit.
Yeah, I mean, like, I did everything I could not to pick Nebraska because it's just it feels like such a cop out, man. But I don't know what Washington's going to be. I don't believe in USC. I don't believe in UCLA. I don't think Penn State's really a dark horse team.
Yeah.
So it's if this was Jonathan Smith's like 3rd year at Michigan State, you could sell me. But that program's gutted, man. It's going to take him a few years.
Yeah.
So give me what feels like the only option in Nebraska.
I can't believe you. Here's my thing.
Okay, go.
The best coordinator hire
Mhm.
of the entire year
Entire year?
was made by the top 10 offense automatic in Lincoln Riley. He got Mr. Lynn
He.
from UCLA. You moved it up.
I can't wait.
You moved it up. Now, if you just have a serviceable defense with Mr. Moss and you play jokers like
LSU.
Penn State and LSU, jokers.
At Michigan.
A
Home
let
against
down,
Nebraska.
huge year for Michigan. Don't believe in Michigan at all. And then another Notre Dame team I don't believe in.
Oh.
There is a legit shot. Because of what I believe are some down years for Michigan, I don't believe in Penn State because I don't think they can score on Ray County High School. But I'll say this, boys. There's a shot. USC could take Ohio State's spot in the Big Ten championship.
Oh.
And that's why I
God.
have them also in the playoff.
Oh.
Mm.
You went there.
So there's your dark
You really went
horse
there. I love that.
in the Big Ten and
Wow.
in the playoff.
You didn't sell me
Miller
on it.
Moss.
You didn't sell me on it, but I love that for you.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. I just think you're getting an automatic top 15, top 10 offense in the country with Lincoln. And if you just get that defense where it can stop anything,
Top 30.
It-
I mean,
anything. I know. I get it. The man, the myth, the legend is gone to Chicago now. He is going to do great things for the Bears in the coming years. Already seems like an awesome dude on Hard Knocks, but by God, you still got studs that rolling through. It's still USC. It's still USC, and your schedule's not very hard considering. So let's ride. Trojan up.
you got the Tyreek Hill of college football, man.
100%.
Zachariah Branch.
He's the
Yeah.
most electrifying player we've
He's
seen since
incredible.
Percy Harvin.
He's incredible.
Yep.
So
Give him weapons.
Yep. Love the pick.
Thank
Loved
you.
it. I was actually going to do that.
Thank you.
I was. So the
Middle
reason that JJ McCarthy went pro is because he was getting the good while the good was getting. But there was also somebody behind him that if he didn't leave, he might have lost that job too. Alex Orji.
Bad.
Great
I'm
ass
looking
name.
at you, man. All right. I'm looking at this schedule. We'll get into the SEC in a minute because I'm just going to talk about Texas then.
Okay.
It's tough. I mean, I'm looking, there's a lot going on, but I do think that Michigan is still fully loaded. And I think they might have something to say. That defense, I mean, Will Johnson to me is the best corner, I would say, since Pat Surtain. I mean, he's just fluid. He can just cover, 30% of the earth is covered by what, land? 70% is covered by Will Johnson. It's like that.
Boy, can swim.
It's like that, bro.
He is cornerback number one.
So I think he's going to be a top 5 pick, and I think you got some incredible pieces. Give me Michigan as my dark horse.
Incredible defense. That God, your picks have just been phenomenal.
Thank you.
Like,
Except for that
appreciate it.
Colorado one.
Hey, I believe.
oh no, I
man.
love it, man.
I love that Miggy's gonna go there.
I don't agree
Yeah.
with you at all, but I love the pick.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
Y'all don't believe in Shador? That's crazy.
It's not Shador.
It's the people in
It's the
front of
people
him
around
blocking.
Shador. It's those
Yeah.
5 guys that block for Shador.
I think they've addressed that, y'all. I really do.
I mean, Warren
I-
Sapp is there. So the
Yeah.
D line has been
Yeah,
they surely
should be bolstered a little bit.
Surely they've addressed that. It's glaring.
and what's his name?
I would hope so. But I mean, you can say the same thing about the Colts from back in the day
Yeah.
with Andrew Luck, and they failed to address that until
Yeah.
it was too late. And
Yeah.
then it's probably looking like the same thing with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the Kansas City Chiefs invest heavily into that offensive line because they know the most important asset in all of football is Patrick Mahomes.
For sure.
One of the most important aspects or assets in college football is Shador Sanders. I wholeheartedly believe that. But I don't know if they've addressed those needs or not. Time will tell. Season will show us
Very soon.
very soon, boys.
They got one. They got Jordan Seaton,
Dog.
5-star lineman, but
Love
he's a
that.
freshman, man.
We'll see you at Tennessee
Freshman.
in 2 years.
He's a
bro.
freshman. Like,
We'll see you in Rocket Top.
oh, dude, you got David Sanders. Like,
We got David Sanders.
you get David Sanders. Great.
All right, so for my dark horse team, stay with me on this one because I think it was you, Joseph, who mentioned that you don't believe Penn State can be a dark horse. But I'm hearing and reading everything about Ohio State and Oregon. They are going to run roughshod over the Big Ten like nobody's business. And that's why I believe that Penn State is going to be a little bit of a dark horse team. I know that they usually win 10 games and James Franklin, Drew Aller, and all of those things that we've already talked about. They have the 3rd best odds to win the conference right now. I know it doesn't necessarily make them a dark horse team, but again, everybody's talking about these other 2 teams And that's why I believe Penn State can be a little bit of a dark horse, just because Michigan, I don't know what they're exactly going to be. You mentioned they have one of the best cornerbacks in the land there as well. You've got Oregon, got Penn State, Ohio State, USC. I know, Chase, you made a case for them, but give me Penn State as potentially a dark horse team, since I believe that they're going to wade through these waters. You mentioned that they don't have to face Oregon, and they're going to get to the Big Ten championship game.
I'm so glad you made that pick.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you made that pick, because my disappointing season team is Penn State.
Okay.
We'll see. I mean, we've been on this train with James Franklin.
We sure have.
Been on this train for several years, and
it's finally going to go somewhere this year.
I hope
it's finally going to go somewhere.
For Penn State fans, I hope it does. But until it does, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say I think Penn State's going to have a disappointing season. I wouldn't be surprised if they open the season with a loss to West Virginia. I don't think they'll beat Ohio State. Yes, they do dodge Oregon, but I think Wisconsin's going to be a little bit better this year. I think they could get them. That game's at home. There's not really many other games they could lose, but I mean, if Penn State doesn't make a 12-team playoff, that's disappointing. And if you lose to Ohio State and Wisconsin and West Virginia, what wins do you have to go off of?
Mm-hmm.
USC, UCLA, Washington, who the cupboard just got raided. I mean, they have Will Rogers and Jed Fish. Like,
yeah,
what kind of win? Like, what wins do you have to brag on if you don't beat Ohio State, West Virginia, and Wisconsin? None.
You don't have any.
You don't. And Penn State's right back where they are, playing in a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl.
USC,
but I don't think USC is going to be.
Well, that's where you're wrong, but it's okay. It's okay.
They got to go across the country.
Here's what I want to see from USC. If they're, because I don't think they have the guys on defense, but if they look more put together schematically, that to me is a win. Like if guys are in the right places and they're just getting out athleted, I'll take that. I will take that, because once the scheme's right, you can recruit the guys. You're USC.
Absolutely.
That's all I want to see.
You're just getting rid of Alex Grinch.
Yep.
Finally.
4 years too late.
Finally.
Like,
way too late. And
it just
I don't know what blackmail he had on him, but
I
Lincoln just couldn't give it up. But you're really getting somebody from across town, doesn't have to, sell a house or anything like that. So that's why I kind of believe in USC.
And UCLA kind of, I mean, when you said best coordinator hire, I thought Chip Kelly was where you were going with that. But
where'd he go?
Ohio State.
That's what I was saying.
Like, it's over with.
Dude, what he can do with Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson.
Motion everywhere.
Judkins is get the most out of anything you possibly can right now.
Yeah.
Pick up.
Oh, yeah.
He is the guy that's like, we do not need you, like, at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when we have you, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it.
Ohio State feels like the Rams a few years ago. Just spend all this money, win a Super Bowl. At least we won one. Yeah. Like, they feel like the Rams of college football.
Well, they need to do. Ryan Day needs to beat Michigan,
dude.
I mean,
he has to.
Yeah,
he has to.
If he doesn't this year, his job might be in jeopardy. Unless he wins
I
an
get
Natty.
The pressure for it there. I can't. It's so hard for me to fathom somebody actually firing him. His win
I wouldn't
percentage
either. But like how people are there in the college football world. There,
100%, 100%. So
Ohio State fans are not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. He's gonna beat them. It's Michigan. They're gonna have the disappointing season. They will not make a playoff. I don't even know if they'll be that close. I think you're losing to Texas. You're losing to USC.
Oh,
you're losing to Oregon. You're losing to Ohio State. And man, if it was in Michigan, I'd have something to say, but you could also get your 5 losses by going to Washington. It's right before your bye week. You're looking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's an easy 4 losses. I can see maybe 5. Orgy is a physical specimen. That sentence was tough.
Pause.
Gotta dance around your words.
Yeah, you got to. Alex, 6'3", 235. Basically me, but he's a freak of nature. But he's just got a lot to prove. I mean, just got to be. He's got it. The natural talent is there. You know that, but he's got to show it. They lost a lot. You're losing the best college running back maybe last year. You're losing so much on the offensive line and defensive line. So I understand it's still Michigan. They're still recruiting, still doing their
True.
thing. They're crushing the portal, all the good stuff. But Sharon Moore's not Jim Harbaugh. And
Yeah.
I think that's going to matter this year. And listen, you guys want a natty,
Yeah.
you're going to be fine.
Mhm.
But I don't think this year is your year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Sharon's the man. But I see 4, maybe 5 losses. So that's fine.
My disappointing team is a team that if they lose one ball game, it's a disappointment. It's Ohio State.
Oh.
Ooh, good
If
take.
they lose
Ooh.
one game,
Mhm.
it is to me a failure, and I think Ryan Day should be removed. And really
What
get
if
his
they
Whoa,
win a
whoa,
national championship
whoa.
and they lose one game?
Hang on now.
guys? We're talking.
That you
and
can't
I'm
have
not-
that take.
I'm not trying to put pressure on these boys.
Oh, the pressure's already there.
This is 2001 Miami Hurricane type roster.
Yeah.
This is 2020 Alabama type roster. This is 2019 LSU. Like, these guys are built to win every single game convincingly.
Yeah.
And if they don't at least doghouse Michigan, it's a wrap. Ryan Day is no longer coaching at Ohio State.
So, would you say all that if they say they go to Oregon and they lose on like a last second field goal or something, but then they, dog walk Michigan and then beat Oregon in that revenge game? Is that you think that's Ohio State
Yes.
fans would be?
That
That's
is
the only acceptable.
That's
That's
it.
it. Yeah.
Anything else? If you lose 2 games to me, Ryan Day, we're good.
Yeah.
We can go find somebody else.
God, dude, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine
He
firing.
he
her.
can't do it. If not now, when, bro?
It's fair.
If not today, when? It's
I'm-
not going to get better.
I mean, you had CJ Stroud, who's what turned out to be a top 5
Your
quarterback in the
receiver
NFL now?
rooms in
He was number
2020.
2, I think.
He
He was right behind Bryce Young.
no, I mean like is a top 5 active.
Oh no, he's not
No?
top
Okay,
5. No,
okay.
no.
Who?
CJ Stroud.
CJ.
Top 5 right now. No.
Top 10,
Top 10.
Fringe?
Yeah.
Maybe
maybe.
he's got to prove a little.
I think I could
something
sell
more.
him on that.
A little something more on that. All right, my take is going to be so wrong, but I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks. Quack, quack, quack. Big move to the Big Ten. Definitely a tougher conference than the Pac-12. Who did Oregon beat last year? They lost twice to Washington.
Yeah.
In Seattle, and then in the Pac-12 championship game, he beat the Utes, but they weren't the Utes.
It
They
wasn't.
didn't have Cam Rising. And then USC, they were very underwhelming last year. They beat Liberty. Come on. I don't know. I like. Look, is Dylan Gabriel better than Bo Nix? I don't think so.
I agree with that actually.
Bo Nix is. I mean, he's been proven that he's probably going to win the job out there in Denver. Surprisingly, their defense might be a little bit more improved. I understand their schedule is incredibly tough, but with how everybody's hyping them up, I don't believe that they're going to live up to all of the expectations. Like, if it is Ohio State and Oregon, Ohio State better take them to the woodshed because they are a much better program and a much better team
Not
than
even
Ohio
close.
State
Not even close.
or Oregon. That's
I love
my
that
take.
pick.
Thank you.
I love that pick. I love that take. That was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Very well done.
I appreciate it.
With that
Damn.
being
Probably gonna be
said,
terribly wrong, but whatever.
no, I mean, no, actually, it makes sense. It makes sense because I mean, Dylan Gabriel struggled against mediocre competition in the Big 12 last year.
Everybody's
I mean,
hyping
yeah,
him
they
up.
beat Texas, but in my opinion, Texas kind of
Texas
threw that game
lost that
away.
game.
Yeah,
Sark
Texas lost that
blew
game.
it.
Yeah.
Like they.
That's your boy, though.
I love him. He
Yeah,
had
you
a
do.
horrible day. At
So
the
I mean,
office.
Dylan Gabriel could get rattled.
Yeah.
You know, if them boys in Ohio State they eat him up a couple of times early in that game in Autzen.
Listen, the boys at Ohio State better be ready. I'm looking at a picture right now. Julian Fleming, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Chris Olave, and CJ Stroud were all on the same team and didn't win a championship.
I can't even believe that.
Ryan Day, you're on the clock.
That's
Ryan Day.
real quick because you brought that up. Did you guys see the Texas A&M receiver room remake the Alabama
Yes,
receiver?
I saw that.
Dude, savages.
Dude, that's just like you guys are closer to used car salesman than you are to that receiver room, brother. Like,
Let me talk
come
about
on.
Enterprise Rental Car, brother.
Like,
Let me holler at you, man.
they're gonna open their own like law firm together and all their names.
They love their former college athletes
Oh,
over there.
God.
Enterprise.
Oh, yeah, we do. We'll pick you up.
Yeah.
Ask me how I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
They got me back in 2016.
Oh my gosh! All right, boys. Well, we have made it.
The SEC.
We have made it to the promised land,
The best conference in all of college
the
football.
SEC, and boys, is it loaded? It is loaded. I'll go first. because you guys already know. I mean, I tried to talk myself out of it. I really did. I will tell you right now, I tried to talk myself out of it because it's a tough schedule. It is a tough schedule. You're playing 3 of the top 7 teams on the road, but you're the Dogs, man. You're built for this. Ole Miss hasn't done it. Bama lost Saban. You got really one prove-it game, and it's Texas. And I think it's going to be a rematch. Give me Texas and Georgia in the SEC title game, and give me the Dogs taking home the SEC title.
You gonna get a bark one time?
Who?
Thank you.
Gross.
That was for your benefit, Chase.
Do it. Do it.
Defend it.
I want to.
Do it.
I want to pick something else. I really do. I wish I could. I have no reason to pick any other game but that. It has to be Texas and Georgia.
The schedule for Texas and Georgia's just
God, I want to hate your team so bad.
no, totally bias aside, man.
They're so good.
They're deep.
I'll say this. I think Beck will be not as good. But even if he's 80%, 75% of what he's supposed to be in the Heisman race, whatever, the way you're supposed to look at him this year, he's going to be the next step. He's going to be Stafford and on the greatest Georgia team ever. He doesn't even have to be that.
Nope.
He does not have to be that. And they're still going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be Texas and Georgia. And Georgia goes undefeated. They're the number 1 overall seed. I hate to say it. I'm not proud of this fact. I want to pick Nico coming in there, Storm and Norman, all the stuff. But it just ain't going to happen just yet. Texas and Georgia.
I will say I don't think they'll be undefeated. I don't think they'll be 12-0. I think that schedule's too hard. But I've seen Kirby Smart teams after a loss. And that's where I think carries them to that.
2021 is the last time you've lost to somebody not named Nick Saban.
Yeah. No, 2020.
2020.
COVID. Florida. Dan Mullen.
Yeah. And then before that,
It was LSU. 2019 SEC title game.
yep. So
That was the
so you
last
lost
regular
to-
season loss, I think, in 2019 was it South Carolina? Was that the year South Carolina and what was his name? They kicked like a field goal. We looked horrible that game. I can't remember. I think that was that. I think
it was something
2019.
weird. It was something weird.
So
So you lost to the greatest college football team of all time, and then Dan Mullen.
yep. and I
That's
mean,
it.
it's
and Nick Saban.
dude, it's Kirby's built a machine, and it's all bias aside, he's built an absolute machine. I know everybody's like, the schedule's going to be different this year. Georgia's not used to playing. This is what Kirby's built that team to do, man. And until Ole Miss does it, they're James Franklin, they're Penn State of the SEC to me. Until they beat those like upper echelon teams,
Yeah,
I
you
know.
just got to prove it to me.
I feel you. I mean, there's so much to choose here, right? Because obviously you got Alabama, which they're still loaded with plenty of talent.
And
I
roster's
mean,
insane.
Loaded.
It's insane. I think you still got, to me, who's going to be, I think, a Heisman Trophy winner. I'm going to say it. Jackson Dart, I think, is going to walk away with that bad boy. Because
put up the numbers.
I truthfully
can be
think Lane Kiffin knows how to call a game,
Mhm.
and Jackson fits his offense better than anybody I've seen him with outside of probably at Alabama. So you give me that, but then also, I mean, Texas. I'm not going to ignore Quinn Ewers. He was one of the top 10 best quarterbacks ever, like in high school.
Yeah.
Like he was amazing, and I think he's just got better and better. And Arch has put so much pressure on him to perform, and I think he's going to live up to it. And that's all great and all. But at the end of the day, fellas, I'm going to suit up with these Tennessee Volunteers because what we do is we got Josh Heupel, ladies and gentlemen. We got Nico, who's going to be in New York. We got Dylan Sampson, the best wide receiver room in college football outside of Ohio State. In this SEC conference, I'm running with my dogs. Who's going to see Chris Brazzell? Not anybody at University of Georgia outside of Malachi Stark. Who's going to be able to touch one-on-one? I'm telling y'all, Tennessee, there is so much to love. And yes, I am a Vols fan. Yes, I am delusional. But guess what? I don't care. See you in Athens. We'll be ready.
I love the passion. 10 out of 10.
Talk that talk, baby.
Talk it! Talk that talk, baby! Wow!
Dang, I just got fired
Let's
up.
go.
Oh man,
Hype train on. Please.
I love the passion.
Wow.
Thank you. I had
Well.
to take my hoop earring out. You know, I didn't want to.
I was wondering, I
Yeah,
saw you
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
messing
yeah.
with it a little bit.
That's
I was like,
why.
what's he plotting here?
That's
Like,
why.
that was well worth it.
That's the
Talk
headgear,
that
baby.
talk,
Come
baby.
on.
So worth it.
That's right, baby.
So
How do I follow that?
Yeah,
Who-
right.
wait, so
Shit.
so Tennessee and Ole Miss, so you got Tennessee playing Ole Miss.
Yeah,
in the-
I mean, I do.
in the
I mean,
SEC championship game.
I think Georgia's going to drop 2.
Okay,
You know, if I just had to think right now, because everybody's going to give Georgia their best shot.
100%.
I think Alabama, Jalen Milroe's going to try and end it.
He has to.
And he's going to. And I think Texas is just really going to try.
Mhm.
Like, so to me, I think that's for Tennessee with the schedule. You backdoor. I mean, and I think you just run. I think you see a more refined 2022 season, a better defense. You have the best defensive player in college football, James Pierce. He is, period.
Okay.
I'm sorry. He's just, if he is consistent and just gives you night in and night out effort, he's pound for pound the best. And then to me, you have the Polynesian Prince. I mean, my boy, the boy is the most
Let him know.
gifted quarterback to come through the University of Tennessee since Peyton Manning.
The volleyball assassin.
The guy, Nico,
He's
is-
that guy.
He is, if he is half of what I think he is, and if he stays upright, bro, SEC is running through Knoxville.
Okay,
Straight up.
I love it, dude.
Straight up.
I love the passion, the
everything
picks.
in my body, in my veins.
Golly,
It's what we
I feel
do.
like you got
Injected.
Chase second guessing himself over here.
I'm about to-
It's like that passion just fueled the
Curry
man.
Spark can kick rocks, boys. He ain't Josh Heupel.
I tell y'all, Josh Heupel has last year, and I'm sorry, Greg, I'm sorry, but man, Joe Milton ruined games, and I love
Yeah.
Joe. But y'all saw Josh Heupel frustrated, but it's like your son when he's just not like, God, you just ain't good at Little League. You know, like it's just like, I want you to be better, bro. And everybody loves Joe Milton. Like, I wouldn't want Joe Milton to date my daughter if I had one. I just wouldn't want him to be the quarterback of my team because he's not accurate. Nico is lethal. Lethal. Everything that this offense is built for Nico in mind.
Okay.
And now with the weapons, y'all, watch out. It's 2022 on steroids.
From your lips to
love it.
God's ears, my friend. I love it. I'm here for it. I
Thank
hope
you.
to God that happens. I'm not picking that, but I hope to God
Yes.
that happens.
Yes.
Shit.
I love it. I'm all on board. If that were to happen, I would be one of the happiest people in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I didn't even grow up here. But that's how much that's how much of an affinity I have for the Vols now, because of basically you two guys, mostly because of you two guys.
I appreciate
I
it.
love the Vols now.
It means
I love
something.
Josh Heupel. He was here when him and I came in at the same time. So we're basically one and the same. We're growing together.
You
Yeah.
have grown as a Vol fan. And
Yes.
it's a wonderful time.
I really have. I missed all
wonderful time.
I missed all of the garbage years, which is I feel very, very fortunate for. But my 2 picks are going to be one. We'll take it back to reality. We'll go with the Georgia Bulldogs. Going to be one of them. Obviously, incredible roster. Kirby's still Kirby. I saw one of your guys today got off from his speeding and
Smile
DUI
lemon, yeah.
charges or whatever it was, his racing charges. So
Mhm.
happy for him. That's fantastic. That's one less you have to worry about their racing, getting in trouble at UGA in
For
Athens.
now.
The other one is going to be a team that always seems to be in the mix. They're always in the top 10, top 15. They start seasons incredibly strong. They have one of the most prolific head coaches in all of college football. And they have a Heisman Trophy candidate as their quarterback. They brought in a bunch of transfers this past season, not only on offense, but on defense as well. Much like I'm believing in the Penn State Nittany Lions,
Do
I am
it.
going to believe in the Ole Miss
Let's
Rebels.
get it.
Oh.
The Lane Train this
The
year.
Lane
The
Train.
Lane Train. UGA is still going to win, but they're going to be there with UGA. I'm going to take it. Their schedule isn't incredibly difficult. I'll go with the Ole Miss Rebels. I know that late in the season they play Georgia. They got them at home, though.
They do.
They got to go to Death Valley at LSU. It's probably going to be a night game. But other than that, I'll take Ole Miss to get there.
I love that. That's an incredible pick.
I feel like you've loved everything that's come out of my mouth tonight.
I just love college football, man.
You do. You
There's
just love it.
anything
I just
about
love
it.
Anything college
football,
football,
like-
you love. So
That
yeah,
wide
there's my
receiver
picks.
room. Hell yeah. Oh, let's move on to the dark horse teams. I feel like there's so many.
This was the toughest one.
This was the easiest one for me.
I was about to say this one was kind of like mine stuck out, and then when I went through the schedules and I went through the teams, I kind of solidified it. It's Missouri, man.
Okay.
It's the Missouri
It's
Tigers.
everybody.
I mean, Brady Cook's back. You got Luther Burden, who's Bolitnikoff potential. You signed William Nawari in one of the top D lineman prospects. Like, it's Missouri. It's the alpha nerd. It's Eli Drinkowitz. They dodged Georgia. I mean, you really got to get up for Alabama. They don't play Tennessee. They don't play Georgia. Don't play LSU. They get Oklahoma at home. They go to South Carolina. They should win that game. I mean, you get up for one game, and it's at Alabama. Do I expect them to win that game? No, I don't, if I had to be 100% honest with you. But there's a shot. I mean, it's the best shot they've had in 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
That how long Saban was at Bama? 17 years. That's the best shot Missouri's had at beating Bama. And then Texas A&M's got a brand new head coach. I know you're going to Kyle Field, but we don't know what Texas A&M is going to be this year. We have some hopes. I know Aggie fans have some hopes that Connor Wegman's going to be the guy, but Missouri's schedule just lines up for them to be 11-1.
It really does.
I think it's the Tigers, man. They stuck out to me the most over anybody else.
That was probably my number one, but I'm going to go with somebody else because I think they could be absolute playoff ruiners.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Auburn Tigers.
Talk to me. I need to
The
hear.
freeze.
What
You got
I
to
need an
convince me of
explanation.
this.
So here's the thing is if you want to just go something different, I don't think they're not going to win it. They're not going to win it. But I do think Hugh is going to have a chance to take down some teams. The Iron Bowl at the end of the year could be the reason that Alabama gets kicked out of the playoff.
They had them last year.
They had them last year.
Oh, and they remember
with
that.
a worse team.
Yep.
With a worse team. The top part of the schedule is relatively easy. You get Oklahoma at home. You're probably going to lose back-to-back to Georgia, Missouri. They could ruin their season. I think you get Kentucky. You get A&M at home.
Brand
And
new
the
head
Iron
coach?
Bowl numbers don't matter. Rankings don't matter.
Anything goes.
Anything.
That could be a sneaky 9-win team. Because I don't think this schedule, you get Cal, New Mexico, Arkansas at home, Vandy, Kentucky, Louisiana Monroe. If your only losses are to Bama, Missouri, and Georgia, that's it.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. There's a weird 9-win team in that. Will they do it? Probably not. But they could ruin Missouri's year. They could ruin A&M. I don't believe in A&M that much. But they could ruin A&M at that point and Bama. Because the Iron Bowl is the Iron Bowl. I feel like they take care of it in Denny Stadium, but hey.
If it was, man,
There is 9 wins in there somehow because it's not a tough schedule.
If it was an odd year, you could sell me having Georgia and Bama both at home. Jordan Hare and that voodoo magic that they sprinkled on the field there. But I could see it.
It's Hugh Freeze too.
It is.
It's DeBoer's first Iron Bowl too.
Yep.
That's gonna matter.
Yep.
That's going to matter when the pressure's on. If they've got 2 or 3 losses, like we have to win this game to get in because there's everybody in the SEC's got 1 loss or 2 loss or everybody's fighting at that 3rd loss. That pressure's going to be on. And then Auburn probably won't have it. They're like, hey, we're not going to make a college football playoff here because our best win is Oklahoma at this point. We've already lost to Georgia. Let's say they lose to Missouri. If Kentucky and Oklahoma are your 2 best wins, you're probably not getting in.
Yeah.
But they're like, we got nothing to lose except for beating Alabama.
Yeah. Let's just do it.
Let's go do it.
And Cam Coleman will have 12 games under his belt. Word out of camp, that kid already looks like a man.
Looks awesome.
So there's your weapon.
Yeah. And you just got to believe in the freeze, baby.
So
Believe in
let
the
me,
freeze. You should coin that. Put that on a t-shirt.
Believe in
What'd
the
you say?
freeze.
Believe in
Believe
the
in the freeze,
freeze.
baby.
ooh,
It's
I
cold.
might get us paid, bro. So let me get this straight. You went Tigers.
I went Missouri.
You went Tigers.
I went Auburn.
Are
I'm
you?
also going
Auburn
Tigers.
Tigers.
LSU
Oh,
Tigers.
Okay.
A team that could very easily start 7-0. A team that is coached by Brian Kelly. Big game, Brian Kelly. And I'm sorry, y'all. He has made so many changes on the defensive side of the ball. He is hungry. He knows what time it is. He smells blood in the water. He came to the SEC knowing Nick Saban was here and said, I want all the smoke.
Well, he knew he wasn't going
and
to be here.
got
for
him
much
in his first
longer.
year.
And got him.
Just barely.
And got him. Y'all, Brian Kelly coaches really good football.
Overrated.
You know?
Oh,
Bro, that's
Very
that's
overrated.
wild to
Very
say.
overrated.
Brian Kelly is a great football coach. Them boys are going to be ready. He has a plethora of talent at LSU. They're going to reload, relock. Yes, I understand. Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, BTJ.
Gone.
I get it.
Gone.
Those
gone.
boys are all gone, all first-round picks.
Nussmeier, baby.
Nussmeier can sling it, man.
You believe in him?
I think Nussmeier's. I don't think he's as good as Jaden Daniels.
I think
But he can
has
sling it, man.
potential to sling it.
Like-
Like Joe,
Yeah.
he can do it.
And Kyron Lacey is
Yeah.
going to be an animal.
So I look at the schedule right now. You got USC. I mean, that's the only thing for the first 7 weeks. That game at Ole Miss is at home.
But also, here's another thing about the Ole Miss game. This is one of my favorite ones of the year. At that point, you're coming off your bye week as LSU. Ole Miss will have 7 straight weeks they'll have to play football up until that point.
Come on.
That
It
is a
sets up-
brutal spot for Ole Miss. But that game, as we mentioned on the Game of the Year draft, was holy crap. We might have 1,000 points scored.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be mayhem. And your bye week, you know what that's before? The Alabama game.
Oh,
So,
Mm.
and then at the end of the day, you're going to get a tired Oklahoma as your last game of the year, which they always seem to drop one late in the year. Yeah, give me LSU.
I love that pick.
I'm going to go to the great state of Tennessee. Tennessee
Oh.
Volunteers.
Oh,
Miggy laid it out beautifully earlier. I couldn't really have said it much better myself. That helmet doesn't quite fit as well as on your head as it does on mine. It looks like it's rattling around. I look like a toddler with the helmet on my head. But you talked about it. One of the best, if not the best, wide receiving group in the country. Brew McCoy, Chris Brazzell, Squirrel White, Dante Thornton, Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod. Mike Matthews is like third string at this point.
That's
for
crazy.
now.
Things.
Just for now. Just for now.
Just
Mike
for now.
Third. He'll be
Just
now.
for now.
Yeah, that dude's going to be different.
Ethan Davis at tight end. I really like him a lot. Dylan Sampson, not quite as good as Jalen Wright, but still pretty damn good.
Cut his microphone.
you still have some pretty damn good pieces there on the defense. I know everybody's kind of like, I'm not sure about the defense, whether or not they'll be able to do it. But you mentioned it, James Pierce Jr., potentially the best defensive player in all of college football. Keenan Peely comes back for another year. Arian Carter's there right next to him at the linebacker position. The secondary is where we got to pick things up a little bit. Hopefully the secondary will be able to hold without Haddon this year, Kamal Haddon. But I think one of the biggest spots that nobody's really talking about is along the offensive line at left tackle. And I'm looking at the depth chart right now. If it is, in fact, the sophomore transfer Lance Hurd at left tackle for Nico, that's going to be huge. That's the most important position for a right-handed quarterback along the offensive line. If that sophomore transfer is able to come in there and protect his blind side, give Nico time to maneuver and do what he does, Nico's going to be just fine. You mentioned it. He's got a crap ton of weapons. He's incredibly talented within himself. This offense is built for Nico Iamaleava. And the Tennessee Volunteers are going to win 9-10 games this year. Dark horse
Okay.
team.
All right, boys. Well, last category of the evening. Who's going to have a disappointing season? I feel like it's kind of obvious in the SEC. It's Oklahoma. I mean, you're coming in. Jackson Arnold's first time as a starter. And I believe in Jackson Arnold. I think he'll be good. But the schedule doesn't do you many favors. You do get Tennessee at home. I don't think you'll win that game. You go to Auburn, first time playing in Jordan-Hare, you'll experience the voodoo. You could lose that game. You play Texas after your bye week. Texas is really going to be mad after the way last year ended. That's potentially a third loss already on the schedule. You play South Carolina, I think you could win that game. I know Lenore Sellers, there's some real hype around him at South Carolina's quarterback, and I hope he's good, but it's South Carolina. You could win that game if you're Oklahoma. Then you go to Ole Miss. That's probably going to be another loss. Ole Miss is going to put up pretty much 45 at will on anybody other than maybe a select few teams in the country. You play at Missouri. I think Missouri could win that game. And then you have an off week before you finish the season with back-to-back games with Alabama and at LSU. That does not sound like fun.
Sure does not.
So give me Oklahoma, man, for their first year in the SEC being a bumpy ride.
No Dylan Gabriel anymore.
I think they would rather have Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Personally, I think his ceiling's higher.
Okay.
I don't think he's better right now. But no better way to find out than to
That's
play Alabama
right.
and
Damn right.
LSU at the last 2 games of the season.
Damn right. Yeah, that's the low hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's
You knocked that one
Oklahoma,
out
man.
the park.
Yeah.
CG.
Brody. Give me Alabama to be your disappointing team of the year.
Watch out, Kalen DeBoer.
Watch out, Kalen. First year, not easy. Not easy. You're taking your loss to Georgia. I'm just kidding. I was going to say Vanderbilt. But I can't even do it. I will say this. I want to homer pick this one hard.
Mhm.
I want to say they lose in Neyland.
Of course they are.
They're
Saban
lo-
did. Of course they are.
But here's my big one. They're losing at home right after that to Missouri.
Back-to-back losses.
They're going back to back for the first time in a while.
Back to back.
And you know what? It ain't crazy to say, boys. They might lose 3 in a row because they got LSU right after that. In Baton Rouge. They're hurting. They're
Oh, man.
reeling in this one. And I'll say it. I'm going to have a fun one. Give me the Auburn Tigers. Take the Iron Bowl. That's 4 losses and the worst loss
Damn.
possible. So in that, if you put that all together, your national championship game, neither one of those teams will be in the playoffs next year or this year. Michigan, Alabama,
It was Michigan, Washington.
I'm sorry. And then the two of your Final Four.
Yeah.
2 of your Final Four are gone. So 3.
Yeah,
I guess
so 3.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody
Yeah,
lose
yeah.
Washington? No.
There's no way you lost 3 stud wide receivers and the quarterback. So,
And
because he's down there in Atlanta.
top 10 overall
That's right,
quarterback
baby.
pick.
Come on.
Future,
Lefty specialist.
future that's got like an ARP card already. But
Y'all see this? What I'm doing with my hands?
World-
It's the world's tiniest violin.
Mhm.
Because I'm
I
playing,
thought you were doing something else.
No. It's just the world's tiniest violin I'm playing.
Okay.
Because I'm playing funeral music for a program down in Gainesville.
Oh God.
The most disappointing season in the country.
Sorry, Billy.
Big game, Billy Napier. Brother, your job odds are 4-1 for him to get fired first. It should be 2-1. Billy's not going to be at the University of Florida past this year. It's the hardest schedule. I count 8 losses, and I'll go through them briefly because I know we're pressed. Miami is a loss. Texas A&M is a loss. UCF is a loss. Tennessee is a loss. Kentucky, you got to show me. I think it's a loss. Georgia is a loss. Texas is a loss. LSU is a loss. Ole Miss is a loss. Florida State is a loss. You can just be
God,
honest.
dude.
Florida, it's done, and I couldn't be happier. You saw what Tim Tebow did back in 2006. Yeah, pay back some mug, isn't it? Yeah. I'm talking to this camera. Enjoy it.
Is
I'm
that?
going to.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. Is that the hardest schedule you've ever seen?
Ever.
ever.
Like, let's just be honest. Let's be nice to Florida and give them some leeway. You get Miami in a toss-up. So 1-0, Sanford 2-0. Texas A&M, they're just not there yet. Let's go 3-0. Mississippi State, you know what? You get them 4-0. UCF, 5-0. Tennessee implodes 6-0. Kentucky, 7-0. Georgia 7-1. Texas 7-2. LSU 7-3. Ole Miss 7-4. Florida State 7-5. That's best case scenario. They go 7-0
And then lose 5.
and lose 5 straight.
That's your massive win for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
If
it's
you-
7 wins.
If they beat I don't think they'll beat Tennessee, man.
I don't think
I don't like. It would take.
It should. We
It
should.
would take-
The Vols should win this game. I will not say they won't.
It's in Neyland, dude. It would take nuclear level implosions. Like
It's Tennessee and Florida.
yeah,
bro.
I was gonna say that's
I've
kind of like
been
the
here.
Iron Bowl. Like you kind of throw everything out the
Yeah,
window,
that's
from what I
fair. That's
understand.
fair.
They come to play. That's
That's
why
fair.
it's like I could see it happening.
Yeah.
I just don't. The Miami game to me.
I don't think they'll beat Miami.
Yeah.
I think that's the
I
game.
just-
We're gonna get to watch that one. That's gonna be 3:30. I think Cam Ward's gonna show out in that game, and we're like, oh yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think you make it to Mississippi State before DJ's starting. DJ Lagway's starting,
Yeah.
and Graham Mertz is like,
Yeah,
let's see the future. Like, because that's Billy's only selling hope is like, well, hey, we've got this guy. So like, I know this year looks rough. The season, the schedule is what it is. This is the guy that's sitting behind Graham. Give me another year, and you'll see when we get an easier schedule, like we're in this thing.
you'll see him start at the UCF game. They'll have the bye week, and it's like
Yeah.
we're gonna give him
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I
To
could see
prepare
that.
for Tennessee, which
Yeah.
a backup quarterback against Tennessee.
He's not a wide receiver.
Yeah, so give me Florida, worst team schedule
Yeah.
ever created.
Yeah. All right, Greg, bring us home.
There's a team that's new to the SEC this year that I just don't think is going to live up to the hype. Give me the Texas Longhorns.
Oh,
Do it.
my
Do it.
Just
God.
kind of like Oregon. They're in a new conference. It's a better conference. It's the best conference in all of college football. It's the best conference in the land, fellas.
It is.
Going 10 or 2 or better gets Texas into the college football playoff. 9-3 probably doesn't. I think they find a way to lose 3 games. Quinn Ewers feeling the pressure with Arch Manning riding on his heels. And let's not forget that for the Texas Longhorns, they've already lost a couple of key pieces there at the running back position. CJ
Oh,
Baxter and
yeah.
Christian Clark, both injured.
Baxter's a big deal.
Baxter's a huge
Huge deal.
loss. Huge loss.
They're looking at all options right now for depth. Steve Sarkisian reeling a little bit there. Again, there's wins they should probably get, but I think they're going to find a way to go 9-3. They're going to disappoint. And you look at what they were able to do or unable to do last year, totally lost in last year's run of the college football playoff, was how the team needed everything in their power to survive Kansas State. They had a nasty game against TCU and a tough fight against Iowa State. And they had a little bit too much of a battle against a mediocre Houston team.
Yeah, I thought
Speak on
Houston.
it.
Whew,
They
Houston
almost got him.
Yep.
You might be able to get away with that in the Big 12, but you are not getting away with that in the SEC. No way, no how. Give me Texas as the biggest disappointment in the SEC this year.
Because they also have 2 brutal games on the road. That could be. I mean, I like I told you, I don't believe in Michigan much, but it's still at Michigan.
in the big house.
It's in the big house.
Mhm.
You know, you always got the Red River in Dallas, but at Texas A&M is your last chance. If you got 2 losses at that point,
I don't think this is an incredibly difficult schedule, but you're right. Like those 2 away games are going to be huge, and you got Georgia in the middle there. Even though you got them at home, Georgia's a better team in my mind. So
yeah, that's the
yeah.
thing is. But if you split Oklahoma and Michigan,
yeah,
you're probably going to lose to Georgia. Man, that Texas A&M game is going to be all the pressure in a bag of chips, bro.
And they're
Yeah.
gonna wake up down there at Kyle Field. This is what they live for. This hasn't been played
They-
in 8 years, I think.
It's been a long time.
wow.
And they in College Station have been brewing for this game to come back. Kyle Field is going to be different levels of insane. I mean, we're talking like Baton Rouge at night with Alabama in town levels insane
Yeah,
for Texas.
yeah.
Because there is nothing they hate more than Texas,
Yep.
who just took their baseball coach.
Ooh,
Damn right.
But also the biggest part about this is, like, Texas A&M has been kind of like flirting around with the hot girl SEC
Yep.
for the longest time. It's theirs.
Yep.
And then Texas comes in right away is option number 1. The media day, of course, has been Dallas, but all anybody cared about, every writer was like, Texas this, Texas that, Texas this, Texas that. They've stolen the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, not many people care about Texas A&M from like a broad SEC perspective right now. Besides, they're kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're weird. Like that's what you know about Texas A&M is they're underwhelming. They fired Jimbo, and they're weird. That's
They
the
are
biggest
very
part.
weird. They're
That's the
very weird.
biggest part now. That's the way you look at Texas A&M.
Yep.
Because before Texas came in this and Oklahoma came in this, you're like Texas A&M is like this potential monster. And now you do not have that feeling because they're the only Texas school in the SEC for the longest. Now they're not even, they're the only Texas team besides Texas, but they're like third fiddle. It's Texas 1A, Texas 1B, Texas 2A, Texas 2B, and then Texas A&M. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. And Texas
forever.
A&M has a humongous chip on their shoulder, so they get a chance to beat up the guy who stole their girl.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Texas forever.
Takes forever.
It's going to be an incredible game.
I love
It's going to
college
be an
football.
incredible season.
It's gonna be an incredible season.
It's going to be.
This made me think about how much I actually enjoyed this 12-team format more.
Oh, yeah.
I love the madness. 4 was fun. It had a great run, and I'm sure there's some people that are solidified in that world. But this little group project we had all together made me start put together how many amazing games, October 12th and October 19th. I know my beautiful daughter is supposed to be born in that period of time. That's going to be the greatest week of all time. And if she's not born, it still might be the greatest week of all time.
We won't tell her that.
We won't tell her that. We love you, Gracie, one day. But anyways, in between that time, I'm going to have a lot going on. And I just need her to shush down now. Dad's watch football.
Or ask questions and learn the game.
Yeah.
Teaching her like
Yeah.
that, you know.
I've been trying to get her ready. You know, we listen to Pate in the car.
Yeah.
So
She's listening.
Like,
She's getting
those
ready.
are her like.
she's
baby
like, Josh is
Sandler
my
and-
dad. You know, it's like, no.
Uh-uh.
The Pardon My Take guys and Josh are not your parents. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Boys, I can't wait. College football's amazing.
I'm so excited. Week 0 is right around the corner, man. I know it's just Georgia Tech and Florida State, but it's college football
something.
on television, dude.
It's
Any
something.
one last thing you got on college football playoff before we get into Thursday?
I feel like all my picks are going to be wrong, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Because either way, it's just as fun to.
Every
just
single
as
one of
fun
my
to try
picks
to
is going to be right, and I'm a college football guru, and that's just kind of what it is. Tennessee, Matt Miggy, they're winning a national championship.
Come on with it.
I mean, shoot.
Me talk that talk, big dog.
Come on, man.
Forever and always.
Yeah, Vol for life and Shador. I want my AP
Oh,
whenever
God.
you're in New York. Man.
My God.
Send it to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chat it up.
Come on.
Mm.
Anthony Jewell, I want to be iced out for my New York Heisman Trophy appearance with Shador.
Absolutely.
One
Beautiful.
day.
Absolutely. Well, boys, this was a beefer of an episode.
It was.
About an hour and 40
one
minutes
last thing.
long. Yeah, one last thing. Go ahead.
So we talk about Dylan Gabriel. He was ahead of Caleb Williams and Drake May in the passing stats last year. Quinn Ewers, all that. He was top 10. So now he gets to go to Oregon. So
That's because the defense was
Interesting.
terrible there at Oklahoma. It's like, well, it's like
Yeah,
Blake
it's-
Bortles with the Jags that one year in 2015 or whatever.
well,
it
I
was.
could say the same thing about Caleb and Drake. He still beat him out.
He did. He did.
So yeah.
Caleb wasn't as overwhelming last year. He was kind of, I'm getting ready for the draft. I don't really give, you know what.
I mean, you're right. I mean, Caleb is probably better than like Jordan Love probably in the NFC North.
Oh,
I would take Caleb right now.
you think so? Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
We'll do our NFL previews.
Yeah, we
when
can
the
talk that
season-
talk.
Next
Go
week.
ahead.
We'll
Next
we'll
week.
get into our
ahead.
NFL season
That doesn't
previews
even-
before the NFL starts. But this has been a
Doesn't
beefy
even
episode,
response.
and
That's
Thick
just
boy
such
episode.
blasphemy.
it has been a thick boy
How long
episode.
we in?
We are at an hour 45.
Oh,
and
I love
we
we'll
gotta
chop
get-
this one up.
we
We'll
got to get home. We will catch you guys on Thursday. For Greg, for Miggy, for Chase.
Follow
I'm
us.
Joseph. Follow Chatted Up Sports on every platform. We will see you for the second half of our playoff picks on Friday.
Peace.
What do we do?